For the last several years, I've watched our country change, and we all have, really. Except there's one aspect of it that I'm just not so sure everybody sees, because when I say change, people are like, oh, bread's expensive, and, that's not at all what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the economy changes or anything like that. I'm talking about really, as a country, where we built our foundation on doesn't exist anymore. It's just gone. That foundation is gone. Because our foundation that we built this country on was really on God and trusting in Him. When we first became a country and separated from the British through warfare, this country leaned on God. We leaned on God. We leaned on this ability to not rely on government, not rely on some other country in Europe, but we rely on God only. And every morning when this country woke up and got to work, it leaned on God. It leaned on God, and God blessed the heck out of it for that reason. And we even put it on our money. Like, it literally, in God we trust. We trust in God. We put it on our money. We put it on all our stuff. But the reality is, that's not true anymore. We don't rely on God at all. We rely on government. And you know it to be true because the ultimate test for this fact is really looking at how Americans are concerned about even the election itself. Like, we're so concerned about the election because that person, whoever, if this person wins, then he's going to save us, and this person is going to just destroy us. And then half the country's like, no. If this person wins, they're going to save us, but this other person is going to destroy us. Neither one is true. Neither one is true at all, and both are true in the end too. They both will destroy you because God desires that you lean on Him. We as a culture, as a country, as a whole, as a population, are shunning God. We are shunning Him by leaning on this thing. There are so many people, Christians themselves. There's Christians that actually believe that somebody's coming to save them, that God sent this person to save us. No, He didn't. God Himself is the only one that can save you. He's the only one. And He's not going to do it through a guy for sure. So we just need to just be very honest and just take it off the money. Put in government we trust. We trust in our leaders. We trust in them. They're the ones who help us. Save us, leaders. Save us. That's the same cry the Israelites made when they had judges and no kings. God desired for them to lean on God and God alone. But they said, no, we want a king. Help us, God. Give us a king, please. Oh, please give us a king. And He did. And it came with consequences, severe consequences. And we're all begging for the same thing. God, send us a leader who will save us. It's nonsense. If you were to ask me what political party I'd affiliate with, I'd definitely say none of them. But the closest I would get would be to a libertarian. I believe that the government should have good roads, should have a strong military, and shut up. Stay out of my damn business. If I can rise on my own and conquer this world and achieve great things, so be it. If I fall on my own because I tried the wrong things, so be it. This is how this country was originally built. When we go out on our own and we try things on our own, we would lean on God through that thing. Because I can promise you, if I'm going to build a business, for example, from the ground up, I'm leaning on God the whole way, but where we are now is you go, well, there's this government loan and there's this tax break, and then, oh, my business would be so much better if only this guy would win the presidency. But oh, no, my business is going to fail if this guy wins the presidency. And you're leaning on government. You're leaning on them. You're relying on them. And it's a false sense of security. It's so incredibly dependent on a person, on like a guy or a girl winning the election. It's ridiculous. It is utterly ridiculous. And God's going to give you what you want, by the way. He's going to give you what you want. If you don't want to depend on him anymore, he's going to let you. And you're going to see the consequences of this. As a country, we are already seeing the consequences of this. I believe in my heart, as a country, we've actually crossed a line. Like, we've kind of crossed a line of no return with God. And we're just continuing to sprint down that path. Of leaning on government, oh, save us, politician. Save us, favorite politician. Not at all leaning on God, Almighty God. Because in the end, I don't care who wins the election. It won't affect me at all. It literally will not. The only way the presidential election is going to affect me is it's going to kind of bother my day of the election, because I'd rather not go stand in line and vote. I will, because it's my civic duty. That's it. I could care less. A guy literally dressed up like Satan and says, I am Satan, I'm going to destroy this country, can rise up and be the leader of this country. And it's not going to affect me. It is not going to affect me, because I'm going to be leaning on God. And what I mean by lean on God is when I wake up every morning and I have need of something, whether it be food, water, shelter, money, a breath of air, whatever the case may be, I'm going to lean on God for that thing, not that guy. Like, I'm not leaning on that guy for anything. And as a matter of fact, if his influences start to affect me, then I'll shift the way I do things in my life. For some reason the economy's crashing and the whole country's on fire, then I'll put out the little piece of fire around me and I'll go about my day. Like, that's how it works. If the whole country's on fire, eventually I'm just going to move. But I'm not going to rely on a guy. And you're relying on a guy. You're relying on government to help you. Like, somehow, government, help me, government, help me. Or, oh, my life is so terrible because of the government. You're blaming the government on your own problems. Oh, everything's so expensive. The government's fault. So go on with your life. Lean on him and him alone. Forget about all that other nonsense. And I promise you, the rest of the world is just going to fade away from your consciousness. And you're going to be focused on him and the loving guidance that he gives you, and the way he takes care of you, and the way that he protects you, and the way he gives you the resources you need, and the way he disciplines you that you need. Like, he's going to give you everything you need. But we don't want to. We just want to, oh no, what's the government got for me? How are they going to help me? Or how are they hurting me? Or, oh no, this whole world's terrible because of this guy, or the whole world's terrible because of that guy. None of it's true. You're all just being sucked into media relations frenzy, and you're just feeding on it. You just, oh, did you hear what this news station said? Did you hear what my favorite news station said? It's snap out of it. Snap out of it if you're a Christian. If you're not a Christian, then just keep on wallowing in the mud like the other pigs. But if you are a Christian, you need to snap out of it. And you need to just realize God is in charge. Whoever is going to be the president is not up to you. It is up to God and God alone, period. Sorry, it's the truth. It's in the Word of God. He anoints the kings. It's up to him and him alone. There's nothing you can do about it. The only thing you can do is get up every day, and all of the things that you desire and need, you need to lean on God for. And the rest of that stuff is just going to fade away from your consciousness, and it's not even going to be important anymore. You know, I remember one time back in 2020 during the I don't remember, point in the election when it was really stressful. Kind of everything from like October to January. But I remember being really stressed about it. And I was taking a walk with my son, and he was like oblivious to it. Like I don't even know if he knew there was an election. And here we are, we're living the same life. Like we live in the same house, we're breathing the same air, we're listening to the same things, we're eating the same foods, we're receiving the same weather. Everything was exactly the same. We live in the same home. But yet I was worried and he wasn't. And I learned a lot in that moment that we choose, like he's having the same experience I have. I've just am focused on what the media told me to focus on. He's focused on whatever the heck he wants to be focused on as a teenage boy. And that's the difference. And we need to be more like a child in this thing, you know. It only matters enough to get up that day and do your civic duty. And after that, that's all that it actually matters. And then the rest is up to God, period. And you either trust him or you don't. If you do, you're not worried about this stuff. If you don't, you're really worried about this stuff. And that's really what it comes down to. And I think deep down, we all know it to be so.